Yeah, so polls, this is kind of a new one inside of Zoho Analytics. They're basically just a quick little way to have a pop-up appear that asks a particular question that you can store and report on within PageSense. I do want to highlight, these are not quite like forms, so I wouldn't use one of these for like your contact form, expecting to grab the data and write it to your CRM. It's really just a way to increase the engagement of users on your page. So starting here from within PageSense, down on the bottom left side under the Engage tab, we can open up polls and we'll go ahead and create a new one. We'll give it a name. This one doesn't need a URL when you're first creating it. You'll actually set that up in a couple steps here. Once we've created it, of course, the first thing we're going to have to do is add the various questions that we're going to want to have here. You can have many. I would recommend if you're doing a poll like this, you probably don't want more than one, right? You're just trying to do a little pop-up, ask them a question, get them a little bit more engaged with your website. So here, maybe if I want to do a really quick poll, I might change this to what's your favorite Zoho app, and they can just go ahead and give me one or a couple of them in an open field response. And once I've done that, I can go ahead and set up some basic visual edits here. So I could say that I want this on the bottom left or bottom right. I can set up a background color with a hex code. So if you had a particular brand color that you wanted to use there, you absolutely can. One little thing I do want to highlight is you'll see it'll say powered by Zoho PageSense. You're able to turn that off in the visual theming here. So just as you're going through this, just remember to check that box unless you particularly want to give PageSense a shout out as people see that. Once you've set up some of those basic visuals, now we can kind of choose what type of device we want to run this experiment on. In this case, maybe we just want to run this on desktop. From there, we can go ahead and choose our audience. One nice thing about PageSense that I wanted to highlight here is that once you've created a custom segment like desktop in USA, you can use that same audience filter in other places. So if you do a lot of these reports and you're often only going to want to run them to desktop users in the USA, you just create that one time and then you're able to grab them anywhere else where you want to use that audience. Here, we'll go ahead and choose which pages we want this on. So again, rather than setting this up at the very beginning, because we might want to have this on multiple, right? We'll go ahead and set it up based on our target pages. Down on the page a little bit here, we can select our trigger. So in this case, we're triggering this on page entry. You could say, I only want to do this if they scroll halfway down a page, then it'll do the little pop-up or on a particular time delay. One important setting down here at the bottom in terms of the response behavior is choosing how often the poll is going to be shown. I would imagine in most cases, you're probably just going to want to show it once. If you show it to someone and then they minimize it and go to another page and it shows up again, it might start getting a little bit annoying for them. So you can kind of choose if it's really important, maybe you want to keep asking until they, complete it. Otherwise, you can say, show it once, show it, a couple times, and then stop prompting them to answer this poll. And then lastly, as you do with most of these pages, it'll go ahead and give you a summary where you can just review, which domain is this going to be on, what type of visitor are we going to use, which device, what's our trigger, and then how are we going to track that response and decide what to do once they've responded to the poll. And once you've kind of reviewed all that and confirmed everything is set up how you like it, you can go ahead and launch it up in the top right, and it'll deploy itself out to your website. So kind of a quick one here with polls. They're really nothing too crazy. It's just a new way to, try to encourage some engagement on your site and let people, provide you some basic information as needed.
All right, with that, we'll talk a little bit about push notifications. So we all know what these are. You go to CNN, you go to most websites these days, and you get that really interesting thing that says, this website would like to send you notifications. And will you allow it? And if you do, then you're basically going to get a little push notification that's going to pop up on the side of your screen, not even necessarily in the browser. It's going to kind of hover somewhere and say, there's a new article came out today, breaking news, those kind of things. Well, Zoho PageSense allows you to set that up as well. So you go to push notifications, you're just going to go ahead and do a new push notification. And you've got a choice. Do you want to make this one time? Do you want to make it recurring? Um, they do have a super nice feature here, which is that it will automatically hide after 5 seconds. And if it's disabled, it's just going to stay there until you click on the dismiss. It's very nice because if you get these push notifications, you notice some of them actually just stay there forever until you go click the X and get rid of them. So kind of a nice feature that you have that ability to do that. And you also can say, hey, I want to schedule this. I only want to run this push notification at this specific time. So maybe we wanted to do it today at 9:50. I wanted to a.m. Pacific time. I wanted to send out a push notification saying the webinar is about to start. So everybody who said they were allowing Zenatta to send push notifications, I could create this. That's the specific time it's going to go out, and there you go. And then you can also determine whether or not you want it to be a recurring thing. So you're going to send the same notification out every single day at a specific time, or every month, or however you want to set that up. And then you can also do it around triggered. You've got goals that you've set up. So when you've got goals that you set up inside of PageSense, and you can say, if they've completed this goal, then I want to send them that push notification as well. Again, we're just going to go with the straight up one time with the disappear after 5 seconds. And then what you're going to go through is you're then going to go ahead and create your overall notification. So this one is, subscribe to our newsletter, or subscribe to our newsletter, as we wrote here. Never miss Zoho news. Put in the notification URL where it's coming from. Go ahead and upload your logo. You can actually put a banner, which would go behind. You can choose that. And then you can also go ahead and create a button down below here. So subscribe now. And it's really nice because it gives you what it's going to look like. So Windows on Chrome, Chrome on 10, Chrome on a Mac, Firefox. So you kind of see which each one of these little notifications is they're going to come in, exactly how they're going to go ahead and look. And then again, you're going to set your audience. So you can have a custom audience. I only want to set this for new visitors on the website. I think the audience segmentation is probably the most powerful part of PageSense, that you can really dive in and just target specifically who you're after. I mean, clearly someone that's been to our site a lot is probably subscribing already. So I just want this to be brand new visitors. We've never ever seen them before. They've never come in. So those are the people that are going to get that little pop-up to subscribe to our newsletter. Then you can go ahead and set your goals. In this case, I'm going to do it specifically around how much time they've spent on the page. That's really all you're going to kind of know if they hit that or not, because really none of these goals are going to work very well as it relates to whether or not they've taken that action or not. And then you are done, and you've got your overall configuration. It's ready to go. This is what it's going to look like. You can look at a preview in various browsers and operating systems and see how it's going to look. And you go ahead and launch this, and your notifications are ready to go. Straightforward, simple, kind of another variation on a theme, but awful nice feature of Zoho PageSense. Now, Tyler, let's talk about some pop-ups.
So I think here, this would be our last little section around some of these functionalities. The pop-ups, these are really, really simple, but can be very, very useful. And this is one that you've definitely seen before on other websites. So to get started, of course, we're going to start here at our homepage. Down at the very bottom left under pop-ups, you can go ahead and make a new pop-up. Here, the first thing we're going to do is choose the type of pop-up, right? So you could have like a full page, a bottom right corner, just a banner ad up across the top, as well as all these different categories. Now, I will say the one category here that was a little nebulous for us was like a newsletter sign up. I think if you want to do a pop-up on your page to sign up for a newsletter, go ahead and build that in Zoho Campaigns, right? Or go ahead and build that in a tool that's kind of pre-built for that. Just because for us, it was not super clear where these would go if I went ahead and signed up here. But in this case, maybe I just want to do a really simple pop-up. Maybe I'm running a promotion, or I have a new part of my website and I want more people to see it. So over on the left, maybe I'll choose a banner, right? Something not super intrusive, but something that will pop in and be noticeable. And maybe for me, I just want to start with a template. So in that banners, I can choose a blank template, and I'll go ahead and grab one here that just has some context and then a button. Again, here, I'm not looking for a sign up. I'm not looking to gather any information. Maybe I'm just trying to show them a new part of the site that they might not have seen. So now here from our template editor on the left-hand side, of course, you've got that kind of common editing tool where you can drag in some basic elements and add them to the HTML. In this case, I'm just going to make some quick edits. So if I click into the text here, I can go ahead and just type that out and say, you know, check out our new and improved resource library. Now that's the standard text. And clicking over on the button here, I can change the language, as well as on the left, I can add the particular URL that I want to direct them to. So in this case, just a quick little link over to the resources guide in case they haven't seen that yet on our website. And so now that I've made that change, you know, I've gone ahead and added my new content, and I've changed that link so that it'll actually go over to the page that I want it to go to. And now I'm ready to go ahead and pick my audience like we always do. So in this case, with a pop-up like this, maybe I just want to run it on desktop. I think it might be too big or a little bit unwieldy on a phone interface. So I can go ahead and choose that. We can also now choose our configuration for this. So this is actually one where it becomes a little more important. So maybe I want to do this on my home page, but I don't want to do it on any page that has resources in the URL, just to make sure that they're not already on the resource guide, and then you show them the pop-up saying, check out the resource guide, right? We might want to avoid that case. So I can go ahead and just exclude that for my targets here. Then, like as we always do, choose your trigger. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be on the page entry here, you know, a quick little pop-up when they hit your home page. And from there, again, nice and simple. We've just got a little pop-up. It'll direct them over to that resources page with a little blurb of text. In this case, we'd be showing it to all of our desktop users. Once you're ready to go on that, you can go ahead and launch it as we've done with the rest of these, and then start to see the effects roll in from your new little pop-up.